Today, we would like to talk about Google templates, Google templates that we observe for Johor Bahru city. So here I will talk about the urbanization of Johor Bahru city. Before that, we should know what is urbanization. So urbanization is a process whereby populations move from rural to urban areas, enabling cities and towns to grow. It can also be termed as a progressive increase in the number of people living in the towns and cities. It is highly influenced by the notion that cities and towns have achieved better economic, political, and social mileages compared to rural areas. So here we're going to see a video that explained that showed the Johor Bahru's development. So, if you see from the analysis of the JBCT, the urban growth is inevitable in nature and remains a challenge to the quality of both built and natural environments. It remains the main concern of planners in the 21st century due to problems such as sprawl. Sprawl, a common feature in rapidly growing urban areas, is associated with the inefficient consumption of resources and unnecessary changes in land use. This reduces the quality of the built environment and lowers environmental performance. Here we examine the linkage between growth of urban centers, population growth, and land use change and evolution of sprawl in Johor Bahru conurbation. Findings reveal that low-density sprawl is evident in Johor Bahru, especially along some of the transportation network and suburban fringes. The fringes. The outward expansion of the conurbation of Johor Bahru increases tendencies of sprawl. The study area witnessed dramatic increase in population and pressure of development with the vision of developing Iskandar Malaysia. Iskandar Malaysia is the development corridor located in Johor, categorized into five flagship zones and under the control of the Iskandar Regional Development Authority. These developments extend beyond its boundary, therefore encroaching encroaching Malay settlements. This threatens the surrounding rural landscapes and local communities, and some of the communities await conversion from low density development to high density. Such can be great challenge towards realizing the vision developing Johor Bahru as a strong, sustainable conurbation of international standing. So, as a conclusion, we can see as the urban areas grow to reap economic and social benefits, urban and environmental problems such as sprawl manifest in unsustainable consumption of resource that environmental degradation. It is a universal problem of most growing urban areas, but the type intensity depend on the rate of population growth and pressure for development. Factors such as high rate of population growth and unnecessary change in land use contribute significantly to sprawl in both inner city and along suburban fringes of Johor Bahru. The conurbation of Johor Bahru is mixing up with its rural hinterlands and low-density rural areas and natural landscapes are captured and converted to high-density developments. This can be challenging in achieving sustainable development of Johor region because it is associated with inefficient consumption of resources which reduces environmental performance. It is therefore pertinent to monitor the nature and pattern of urban growth to enable adoption to better approach in handling issues arising. This can also assist in realizing expected outcome, which is economic and physical development without jeopardizing the environment. So, with observation in the time place lapse, we hope that be able to spread some awareness and some information to the community regarding how the urbanization impacts the environment and the earth. So, thank you very much. I hope that everyone enjoy my part.
besides the change that we can see in the sprawling Johor Bahru city, we also can see what is happening to its coastlines. So this is the Danga Bay area, which is located west of the Johor Bahru city center. So this is the Johor Bahru city center, and this is the Danga Bay area. And now we will looking on the change which take place between 1984 to 2020. So here it is. As we can see, between 2000 and 2020, new land reclamations are formed along the Danga Bay coastlines. This is not something good actually. We're actually losing the habitat of the life which once living in this area, in subsequent causing the decline of the species. Besides the loss of the habitat, we are also losing the place which once was the spot, was the weekend spot of the citizens to spend time with their family. So as we can see here, these are the photos which were taken in Pantai Lido or Lido Beach many years ago, and we will not see something like this anymore. The environment will not be the same ever again.
My name is Shalita. My student number is A20PE0022, and today I'm going to continue about the presentation on my case study on geographic study, which is studying in more detail about the soil erosion in around mangrove forest in Tanjung Piai area. Tanjung Piai is one of the wetland site that is to be designated to be one of the most international importance under the Ramsar Convention, and it is located in Johor Bahru, Malaysia. The area itself mostly covered in mud flats and mostly mangrove forest, and it is located in the southern most part of the mainland of Asia.
Good morning, everyone. I will continue about the presentation on our geographic study case, which is on erosion of mangrove trees at Tanjung Piai, Johor, Malaysia. Mangrove forest in Tanjung Piai, Johor, Malaysia is one of the unique ecosystem which are located between the land and sea. Mangrove can be found in 118 countries in the world, representing 1% of the tropical forest worldwide and less than 0.4% of the world forest. Mangrove swamps provide a very important ecosystem to both human life and diversity of life that inhabits it. As you can see from the picture in the slide presentation, you can see that the Tanjung Piai, located at the south area of the Johor Bahru, between Selat Melaka and Selat Melaka. And you can see that it's really small and it's really edgy around below. And the next one, you can see the picture of the mangrove trees in Tanjung Piai. It looks like the mangrove tree have been like decreasing time by time. because of our, mainly due to our humanity activity, due to the increasing of development. And this shall not be happen because we have to keep and we have to we have to give the population or species of the mangrove tree so that our mother nature can be protected, not letting the mangrove tree decreasing and thus increasing the soil erosion that is being protected by the mangrove tree. Next, you can see the picture of the Tanjung Piai mangrove tree and the Tanjung Piai park. Next, this is the mangrove tree root, which you can see is so big and long, and this is why our soil erosion before is decreasing because of the strength that the mangrove tree provided. And thus, we have to keep the enough species of the mangrove trees to avoid from the soil erosion to happen. Next, you can see the picture of the Rhizophora epicite, which is the one of the species of the mangrove trees. And this is really fascinating to see that this kind of tree can protect our houses and buildings that located beside the seashore and around coastal area. Because of the strength from the this mangrove tree species, our buildings are not collapsed easily, and it's safe for the humans, habitats, and other living things. Tanjung Piai mangrove tree park also beneficial for the living things such as birds and other fishes, other kind of fish, and underwater species. Next, let's have a look at Google Timelapse on Tanjung Piai. As you can see from the picture, from the Google Earth engine shows the Google Timelapse on the area of Tanjung Piai, Kukup, Johor, Malaysia. You can see that the difference has been so many difference between the years from 1984 to 2020. As you can see, the years keep increasing, so as the Tanjung Piai become more different. Despite the building of different coastal projection measures, the shore has been subjected to catastrophic erosion for decades. Shoreline retreat was observed to be between 2 and 4 meters each year. According to hydrodynamic modeling based on 2008 field data, the greatest current speed measured along Tanjung Piai east shore is between 0.2 and 0.5 ms, while the west coast has current speeds of less than 0.2. At the point of Tanjung Piai, strong currents of 0.5 to 0.8 can be found. The simulation also shows that due to the presence of a tiny island, some local current patterns are generated near the tip, as the flow entering the study region during flooding is reflected to the east. But the wave simulation demonstrate that the majority of the wave originate in Singapore and the Straits of Malacca, and that their amplitudes drop to less than 0.8 meter as they approach to Tanjung Piai shoreline. The extensive erosion at Tanjung Piai, especially around the mangrove trees, because the decreasing of the mangrove species itself that used to hold the soil around that. And caused by these local hydrodynamic conditions, as well as the presence of the regular ship wakes, modern simulation that included the proposed coastal protection measure revealed both positive and negative effects from the hydrodynamic changes in the research area. The magnitude of the current speed and wave height would be lower in the area behind the structures but raised on the other side of the coast, according to the findings. Roughly 70 hectares of mangrove forest due to increased marine traffic. The new port also being built in the Sungai Pulai estuary will most certainly result in more wave energy hitting Tanjung Piai East coastline, speeding up the coastal erosion. Making the coastal erosion process speeds up, and this is not good for Mother Nature. To avoid this from happening, the authorities should impose appropriate punishment on anyone who tries to pollute coastal area, especially near mangrove trees, and also to those anyone who tries to destroy the mangrove tree species by doing some illegal logging without the permission from the authorities. So besides some replanting campaign in youngsters, including our students like me and other university students, and plant back the mangrove trees so that the coastal erosion process can be reduced, and thus by that we can remain the population of the mangrove tree. Plus, beside that, the sediment transport movement in the area will be determined by these changes. As a result, before implementing any type of coastal protection measures, it is vital to understand the hydrodynamic features, because they may protect some areas from erosion and may not be beneficial to other portions of the shore. The waters of Tanjung Piai 4 main rivers are teeming with commercially valuable species. The property of designated as an ecotourism state park, with a visitor center with a boardwalks on the park's southern tip, providing educational materials, guided walks, and overnight accommodation, as well as a World Wetland Days program that began in 2003. The disadvantage that you can see from the Google Earth engine that show Google Timelapse on Tanjung Piai, mostly the disadvantage of the Tanjung Piai and the area in the mangrove trees itself, mainly due to the oil spills on the western side of the Tanjung Piai, have induced a natural erosion process in roughly 70 hectares of mangrove forest due to the increased marine traffic. So in this case, the authorities have to act fast and catch whoever do this kind of marine traffic. And we also, as a responsible community, we have to look at this problem and try to solve this by planting a lot of mangrove trees around these areas, not just around coastal areas, but around all of the area of our country, so that our Mother Nature can be peacefully at rest, and our next generation would know how the mangrove trees looks like. So I want to show that from the year 1984 to 2020, Google Earth Timelapse has recorded the changes, the time-lapse between the years of Tanjung, Johor, Malaysia, including the area of the mangrove trees itself. And as you can see from the changes, a lot of things have changes within the modernization itself. And yeah, and this area, and you can see that this human and man's have built so many buildings, and of course, if they have to build many buildings, a lot of trees have to sacrifice to provide many type of buildings, because the usage of the wood from the trees itself required to complete the building process. And this part also, you can see that it's really changed, really different from the early 80s. And you can see that this area, you can see that the humanity keep building something around here. So I think that is the most reason why the mangrove trees keep decreasing, and the process of the soil erosion keep worsen between times and times nowadays. So I think humanity, as long as we should decreasing our development a little bit around this area, and not around this area, so around other mangrove trees area, so that the soil erosion process decreasing. When the soil erosion increasing, it's not that only Mother Nature is not at peace. I mean, the community and the people that live around that area are also affected. I mean, their safety are affected. So to avoid this from happening, we have to avoid from the soil erosion to keep occurring and happen. So that's about it. I think youngsters nowadays and us try our best in keeping and remaining the species of the mangrove trees, and not only in that area, I mean in every inch of area itself. So it's not that it's the best for our country, it's the best for us too, and it's the best for in every aspect to care for our Mother Nature, and also keep our environment safe, and safety of the community village that live around that also can be remained the same. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day ahead. Bye.